This tutorial teaches you how to speed up your production process with the aid of predefined action steps. First, you will get a short introduction and see what action steps are all about. Then we will run through an example of application. You'll learn how to adjust the required settings in the ZCC and see the whole production process. By using actions, it is possible to automate the cutting process with a high degree of flexibility. Action steps are predefined functions that are executed at certain times in the processing sequence. You can add them in the cut center, just like processing steps in the control panel. With their aid, you can standardize recurring job steps and increase the degree of automation. The following predefined actions are available. First, turning processing material. Select this action if you require the execution of the processing steps to be stopped so that the processing material can be turned over. Then we have surface compensation. This action carries out surface compensation of the processing material in relation to the relative processing of the objects. The number of and distance between the scanning points can be adjusted. The size of the area to be scanned is defined by the job borders. Then let's have a look at idle. Processing is stopped and custom message is displayed on the cutter operating unit. Once the message is confirmed, the actions are resumed. Finally, the end of preparation. This action serves as the separator between processing steps used for preparation and the actual job process. To show you how to handle action steps in the ZCC, we will now have a look at a specific job and carry it out with the help of predefined actions. So here is the scenario. We're going to produce a carrying case made of polypropylene. For the job, we process identically printed panel materials. This means that cutting paths and register marks are always in the same position. We want to produce a large number of carrying cases, so we are using the board handling system. The processing is to take place on the rear side to improve the quality of the processed edges. Okay, let's load the job from the cut queue. As you see, only the processing steps through cut and crease are set so far. The first thing I do is select Board Feeder, Stacker from the list to select the job process. Remember, the job processes are defined in the Cut Manager. Let's have a quick look at it. Open the Cut Manager and go to the tab Job Processing. Basically, the cutter will do everything that is set here automatically. This means that you don't have to start the vacuum on your own, for example. The cutter will do it before starting the production. If you want to change something in the process, you can do it here. For example, add actions or change the time of execution. But in our case, everything is fine and we go back to our job in the cut center. The next thing I do is setting the number of copies I want to produce. Now I can start to add more actions and processing steps. In the Processing Steps control panel, use the functions Add Action Step and Add Processing Step for setup. I will do this quickly for my job. Don't be afraid if you don't get what the different steps are for. You'll see it later in detail. For now, you only need to know one thing. The job process is divided into two parts, separated by the action End of Preparation. All processing steps arranged before the action End of Preparation are performed only once. They are needed to create a stencil, which is used for the further job process. All processing steps following the action End of Preparation are performed separately for each copy or page. So that's it. Let's start the job and see how it is processed. In the scheme that you will see now, you'll find all the information you need to understand how this job takes place. In the main window, you see a realistic 3D animation. It shows you how the cutter works step by step. The switch on the right indicates if the job is still in preparation or already in the production process. Below, you can see the actual processing step. And down here, you can see a schematic diagram that shows you what actually happens in the different processing steps. The first panel is fed in with the printed side facing upwards. We start with the registration. With this production step, possible distortions are detected. You only have to do that once. The values are saved for the whole production. Now register the material borders. This is necessary because later we want to process the material with the printed side facing downwards. Turn the panel. This action automatically flips the cutting path. Now we reach the action End of Preparation. This means that the first panel has been registered and that production will be started subsequently. Remember what you heard before about the two parts of the production processes? Everything until here had to be done only once to create a stencil. Every action from now on will be repeated for every copy until the whole job is done. So for the rest of the production process, all further panels are positioned on the stack with the printed side facing downwards. Register the material border of the turned panel on all following panels. In our example, the next processing steps are through cut and crease. Wait until the first copy is finished. Now all processing steps of the production process are repeated until all the copies are produced. In our example, that will be registering, through cutting and creasing. So that was easy, wasn't it? Try and speed up your own jobs with the help of action steps. And don't forget, if you need more information, you'll find all the details in the ZCC manual.